So what's up, everybody? It's your boy Jonathan back at it again. Yeah, New York is still under quarantine, but I'm out here. So what I want to talk to you today is about fitting in, right? And I made this video because I've been talking to my dad about that, and I've struggled to fit in until I came to New York. And when I got up the plane in New York, I had enough skills, so I have a good life now, and I pretty much fit in. But the reason you want to fit in, and people have a struggle with it, is because people need friends. People may want to have connections to possibly get a girlfriend or find a wife one day, make babies. People want connections for jobs or mentors or whatever. So to get that stuff, you have to fit in. So you have to find a group to fit in and be social, and then you can have things like that. But a lot of people struggle with fitting in, so I'll teach you the things that I've learned and what helped me. The first thing about fitting in, which is important, is don't go in there for the girls. Point blank, period. Don't run in there for the girls. And the reason is, when you rush into places with the girls, for the girls, you don't analyze things and you don't think about things and you don't think about what you're doing. And a lot of times we get caught. Like, for instance, when I was in college, I was an unemployed 25-year-old trying to be a professional dancer. And this was at the university in San Francisco. And I had joined a bunch of social circles with, a lot of predominantly Asian and white women who were like 21 and under. Now, of course, looking at the circumstances, and people analyzed me, and, the red light went off in their head, like, ding, 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 this guy doesn't belong here. So people are very analytical, and don't do things just for the girls because you're going to get caught, because people are very analytical. The second thing that you want to do is believe or have the same interest as everybody else. The reason is, people don't always want a person who can give them generic value, like a nice guy who just can chill and, he can be an ear to listen to. People want somebody they can play video games with. People want somebody in their life they can watch sports with. They can listen to music with. They can talk about hip-hop music with. They can dance with, That's what people want, like a good mentor, something. You have to put something on the table, and generic for a lot of times isn't going to cut it, and people want value catered to them. And so, for example, I was in another social circle, a very large social circle back in the day when I was trying to work my way up in social services. So, I figured I'd go to that social circle because that would help me move up in my career. When I would go, people would generally say hi to me and be friendly, but there wasn't no long conversations. Next thing I know, I went to this picnic for the social group, and everybody just basically ignored me. And I was out there alone. And it was like 200-300 people walking around, and nobody just came up and said, "Hey, how are you doing?" and started a conversation with me. Nobody did that. So I talked to a couple of people, but it was for 30 seconds. Like, "Hey, how are you?" "I'm good." "Okay." "Everything okay?" "Yeah, good." "Okay." "Bye, I gotta go over here." That's because I didn't believe what they believed, and there was nothing to talk to me about. I didn't have the same interests, so what are they gonna talk to me about? So you have to realize that. The third thing you have to do is be very analytical of yourself before other people can analyze you, because other people are going to analyze you super quick, right? For instance, racism is a big problem in this country still, so you should go places where people accept you for your race. Like, for instance, I tried to be in a social group in San Francisco where they would have a coffee hour, and then they would have these events after the coffee hour, and then the main event after the coffee hour, whatever. And so it was mostly Asian. And so, I would come like 5-10 minutes early before the event start, just go to the coffee hour, and they literally locked the door. And there was these huge windows on the door so you could see inside, and everybody who was in there was Asian, and you could see inside, and they were all enjoying their coffee hour except for me, and they wouldn't open the doors for me until the main event started. But if an Asian person walked up, they'd do it for them. But and you have to look at that, okay? You have to really think about that. Like, racism is still big in this country. The other thing that will get you in trouble is age too. Like, a lot of people believe that if you're not married with a wife and kids, or you don't have a girlfriend and a career going on by your mid-20s, early 30s, something's wrong with you. You had to have done something bad in your life, which is why you don't have nothing. And people are always going to believe that. And that's what happened when I went to the university. People always believed that there was something wrong with me because I was a 25-year-old college student trying to be a professional hip-hop dancer. So there must be something wrong with him because he has nothing. So you have to look at that. Also with age, we become analytical, and you're not going to do everything everybody else does because you're very analytical. For instance, like, I was in an anime club back in the day at 25, and a lot of people, part of the culture was you wear all these clothes advertising for your favorite anime, and you talk in Japanese slang. And I was like, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to embarrass myself. And then because of that, because I analyzed the situation and didn't want to be fully part of a culture, it was like, okay, well, we'll see you when you see me. We'll be polite, but that's it. And the same thing, like, also as an older person, you have limitations to your time and energy. Like, I was dancing in New York, and I used to go to dance practices, and a lot of people would wake up, they'd dance on the subway, then they'd dance in Union Square, and then after that, they would go to dance class, and then go to these dance practices late at night that were like 11:30 to like 12, or 10:30 to 12. What ended up happening, I would go, but I would only stay for like 10:30 to 11:30, and that was all of my dancing for the entire week, just 1 hour. And people thought that I was just this conservative old guy who would only dance for like an hour and then go home, and nobody talked to me. Well, it's kind of like there's limitations because of age and because I work. And people weren't really trying to hear all of that. And, even sexism is huge in this country. And, like I said, one of the groups I had joined in college, like I said, I was like 25 and mostly joined groups with like cute white and Asian girls, 21 to 18. And one of them was a public group that was open to everybody, but it was run by this feminist who, she only got involved in that group because she wanted to protect college women from getting too drunk and date raped. And, I'm not that type of person. Like, I've always grew up religious, and I have values, and I would never do that to nobody, but I joined that group because of my age, and because I was a man, and because, like I said, at my age, I was running around trying to be a professional hip-hop dancer. The red light came off, and she was like, oh, hell no. And she had targeted me and was very angry and upset. And I literally did nothing but just join the group. So you have to understand that to fit in, you have to do those things. Number one, don't go anywhere for the women. Number two, actually believe or have the same interest as everybody. And number three, just analyze yourself so that you can make the right choices. All right, I'm out, y'all. Peace.